Okay. And then, so we should be live now.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it says we're live. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Bronwyn. Hi.
Hi, it's so good to see you.
So good to see you. I am so glad that you originally chose a different Christmas movie and it wasn't there, and we did this one because it got me on the track to Christmas for one thing. And the other thing, I did not hate this movie.
Me neither. I was expecting just like a full body cringe the whole time. And I
Are you muted? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Bronwyn. Can you hear me? So I guess I'll have a little chat with myself while Bronwyn's taking care of stuff. You guys, I love Christmas. Christmas is great. Um, uh, in this movie, we got Winnie from Wonder Years. We got Ned from Schitt's Creek. We got Leah Thompson from Everything, Back to the Future. Uh, 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 Howard the Duck. The director of some great Picard episodes. Uh, Caroline in the City. Can't forget Caroline in the City. What else? What else? Oh, that one guy that I think was in that one show, Gilmore Girls, I think, but I never watched Gilmore Girls, so I don't know. Let's see who else. Oh, Brian Shaffley, is that his name? I think that's his name. Great improviser, super fun guy. Loved him as a dad. Can't imagine anyone doing the job better. So great. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah. So what's your favorite Christmas tradition? Mine is probably making lots of really fun plans and then not doing any of them. We'll go see Christmas lights and make cookies and what else? Uh, uh, Decorate, going to Christmas parties. Um, let's check and see if she's texting me. What's going on? Let's see what else. I never planned on caroling because boy, that sucks. Hate singing. Hate singing to strangers. Especially a cappella. Ugh. What else? I love a nicely decorated Christmas tree, but boy, do I hate doing it. And then you got to take everything down at the end, and it's just like, why? Well, why? It's too much. Oh, I wonder if she's even in this. No, she's still there. Okay. What else? Also, how come nobody likes my presents I give them? Like, I put a lot of effort into finding the perfect gift, and then they never ever use them. Like, what is that? Oh, you want cash? Fine. I understand needing cash and wanting it to be happy because you don't have to worry about other things. But boy, is that a bummer to give as a gift. But again, not a problem. I'll do it. I'm getting a message right now. She's in the waiting room. There she is. Oh, now I have to do this again. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay! I'm not sure what happened, but I could hear you, which made it even weirder.
Oh,
But I'm
good.
back.
You got to hear about all my favorite things. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. I
Okay.
also, one of my favorite things to do at Christmas is make plans and then not follow through on them. Although that is a year-long thing for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do that every day with absolutely everything, but Christmas, it's special.
It's like a more festive version of that for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, exactly. Bronwyn, let's jump in. Oh, you know what? I didn't do my thing that I'm supposed to do. Bronwyn,
Ooh, the thing.
how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I feel like I am a snowflake, but not in a conservative calling
Hmm.
people snowflake way and not in a like special way, just like a melty, cold piece of air substance right now. I'm not sure what that constitutes as doing well or not doing well.
Yeah, it seems pretty neutral, if not kind of bad. But if you're good with it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neutral. I'm cool with it. I
Good,
like being
good.
part of the weather pattern.
That does sound nice.
How are you?
I I'm doing good. I'll leave it there because we watched a movie. Let's
That's
talk
true.
about it.
Yes, let's do it.
Uh okay, present day. This movie BT Dubs is called Love at the Christmas Table, 2012. I mean, I added 2012. That's what it was made. Sam's
It's
back
it
home.
is it's very 2012.
It is. It is very every year that it was, twice at least. Like
That's true. There were a lot of years that were covered in this movie. A lot of span. The passage of time is a big character in this movie.
it is. And I kind of love that. Like I
Me
was
too.
afraid that I was going to get stuck in one year and it would be boring and I'd have to care about the rest of the year, but I didn't have to care about the rest of the year. I just had to care about Christmas and I'm all about it. Ron, when you're gone again, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Ah, there you are.
Okay, I turned off my Bluetooth. I think it must be something with my Bluetooth speakers.
Mm-hmm. That'll happen.
Okay, well, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, and I
Can you
can hear
hear me? Okay,
I
good.
can. That would be really uncomfortable if I couldn't just be speaking into
Mhm.
this. Yeah,
Yes, whatever you're saying, I agree with.
exactly.
So Sam gets home after 5 years of being away. That means absolutely nothing to me because the movie just started.
Exactly. And the movie is like, oh, I bet you want to know what this is all about. He gets there and, everyone's like, oh my God, big city guy is back because this is one of those movies, right? Dustin
It
Milligan is big city guy. And then Danica McKellar is all like, it's been 5 years. And she like hits him on the arm in that like playful way. But you're like, oh, okay, they have history, especially
mhm.
because he's all like, and there she was, Kat Patton, and
Yeah,
like you see her and she's like carrying a Christmas tree because in these movies they love to have somebody carrying a Christmas tree at all
you have
times.
to. You have to. Without it, we wouldn't know it was Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. They got to
Mhm.
prime us up for the vibe.
Exactly. Uh, when he pulled up in that taxi, they did a really long take on the license plate. And I was like, am I stupid? Is that a vanity plate and I can't read it? I don't think, no.
Yeah, I also was like, this is a really slow entrance in a specific way. Is there something significant about the car? And based on the rest of the movie, no.
No, no.
This was just a choice they made.
It was a very long choice they made. Yeah, so he hasn't been there in 5 years. And let's take a look at their history. 1984. Also, EB is the woman that he first sees when he walks in the house. And we are introduced to her as this is her house. It's a Christmas house all year round. And that's all we get. And I thought through half of this movie that was his mom, but it
I
was
yeah,
not.
okay. I thought that was really confusing too because when it opens and he's like, it's the first time he's back in 5 years, and it's Christmas time, and he's saying, I'm going to see the family, and then Leah Thompson's there, and then he's like, she owns the house. I was like, is this his
That's
family's landlord? What's going on?
yes.
And then throughout the rest of the movie, you realize, no, this is just her house. She's just like, a family friend who hosts a bunch of people from this small town, but we never know what she does for work.
And she's got a huge ass house too.
I was like, she makes money, or that was a family house or something, and I want to know.
Same. What the fuck?
Exactly.
So 1984, 4-year-old Sam and well, at least Kat is 4.
Yeah, I was like, is he 5?
I know.
Does it matter?
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
But they do give us all of the ages, like them through their childhood. So it does feel like, in childhood that matters, maybe not later.
Absolutely. They let us know that Kat's mom died this year, and her dad started a furniture company with his dad, right?
Yeah. So like their dads run a furniture company, which is very successful, because later in the movie we find out that it's shipping internationally. I had questions about that the entire movie. I was like, okay, so if this is a really small town, how many people are buying furniture there? They must be shipping on the internet.
Right. And there was no internet in 1984. So the fact that they were successful long enough to do that, cheers.
Yeah. Do you think they were like driving like to nearby cities?
Yeah, doing trade shows.
Totally.
Here's the biggest question I have about them owning a furniture company. When they first get there, they are bringing in a little tiny kids table, and they're looking at it and they're like, well, it's our first one. We'll get better. How do you own a furniture company if you've never built furniture before? Because that's what they do. They build furniture.
Yeah, I don't understand that. And I also just love, a furniture store is such a specific thing to do. And so to be like, I am grieving, I will do this really intense craft, and like all the sides of it, the business, the building, all of it. It's not like, oh, I got into, I don't know, I decided to learn how to knit at home, or I went to one cooking class. It's like, I'm going to start a really complicated business.
Right. One I'm completely unfamiliar with, but I'll get the hang of it eventually.
How hard can it be?
I mean, seriously, it's wood.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna hurt yourself.
No. So Sam immediately goes under the table and starts drawing, and Kat joins him. Adorable.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And they like fall asleep later, because it's the holiday. They like, it's like the 2 little kids like falling asleep on the bed or the couch. So it's like, oh, look at how cute they are. And also I love that Kat's mom is dead. We don't know shit about her. Like, how did she die?
We don't, we never learned shit about her either. She was a womb. That's all she was good for.
She was a womb. And it's the worst of both worlds, because so many of these movies have a dead mom character, and like, it's not really talked about. But this one, she's kind of a presence just through the grief aspect, but we don't get anything that personalizes her.
I like that you say that these movies have a dead mom character, as if they're like present in the movies and their characters. I know that's not what you meant, but it was fun. Anyway.
No, yeah, like they're on the list of characters.
Yeah. No one plays her, but it's fine. Age 10, they steal a rum cake and get wasted, or at least pretend to, because there's no booze in that cake.
Which honestly, pretty accurate. I feel like as a 10-year-old, you'd be like, okay, I guess I'm drunk.
Yeah, this is exactly what my parents do when they get drunk.
Yeah. Eat cake and giggle.
Right, and stumble. Age 13. Sam is trying to talk to Kat. She could care less. He goes in for a kiss, and she stabs him with a fork. Brutally.
Yeah, okay. The stab. So like, it's weird that the movie cuts from like they're 10 and they're getting along to like they're 13 and he's going in for a kiss. I understand like they're going through puberty now, so he's like, oh, I have a crush on you. I'm going to try to do something about it. but it feels like there's a lot left unsaid because it goes from like their best friends to her being like, I hate you.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I totally get that she might not be into him and she's 13 and he's annoying and
Sure.
but like she stabs him with a fork.
Right.
Also, how bad were the stab wounds? Like I love that the
Thank
family's
you.
just like, oh well,
Kids.
kids. I guess he tried to kiss her and she stabbed him. I'm like, either way doesn't look good.
No. And the placement of that stabbing kind of looked like she stabbed him in the dick, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another point about this movie. Super fun, to me anyway, how they really tried hard to make it seem like they wanted to swear a lot. You
Oh my
guys,
God, yes. Yeah, because
adorable.
like throughout the movie, there's this swear jar
Yeah.
that, of course, EB keeps at the Christmas house. But then even when they're adults, they'll be like swear jar, like if one of them is gonna swear. And that, like, I thought it was funny when they were younger, but when they were adults, I was like, if an adult said swear jar to me, I would get
Say
violent.
it louder.
I would be like, I will fucking, I cannot do this.
The fucking what now?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
thank you. Okay, good. Thank you. Age 18. Kat, wait, Kat's sad. She goes to talk to Sam, who is reading a book. 5 years later, teenagers love books, but he's like sitting on the counter. Okay, so I had this image in my head as a younger person that the really cool girl, when she's just home doing stuff, whatever, was usually sitting on a kitchen counter and like eating carrot sticks and talking about real cool stuff. And that's what I thought about Sam in this scene. I was like, he's like a manic pixie dream boy in this scene, but only for like a minute, just because he's sitting on a counter.
Oh, absolutely. Because he's sitting on the counter and then she even makes fun of his jacket. Like he has like kind of this 70s almost blazer jacket. It's like, oh yeah, he definitely thrifted for it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's at college now, so he's like really into books.
yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I like to read. I'm into ideas.
Have you ever heard of Charles Bukowski?
Yeah.
Because
I bet she hasn't because she hasn't left that town. So where would she find a book?
I know, right? They don't have them there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Sam's like, you don't even like me. Fuck you. Go, whatever. And she's like, you know what? Fuck you. I do like you. And it's the sweetest, I guess. I don't know. They decide to go watch Christmas movies and do whippets, I guess.
Yeah, they did whippets, which was definitely like the most festive part for me. I did like that even in this scene where it's supposed to be like him expressing vulnerability by saying, "Oh, well, you don't really like me, so like whatever." And then her correcting him. You find
Yeah.
out all this horrible stuff they've done to each other.
Yeah.
She like dated 3 of his friends and then turned them against him, which we never really ever find out. I'm like, that's a big deal. What did that mean? Like,
Yeah.
was he being
That's
dramatic? Was that not a real thing? That's a big thing. Also, who are they? We don't see him have any friends. And then
never.
instead of being like, I shouldn't have done those things, I'm sorry, she's just like, well, actually, I helped set you up with Ashley, this girl who I'm friends with, but apparently hate because I'm like weird to her the whole movie.
She's quite vacuous, though.
She is annoying. She's very
Mhm.
annoying. But I was like, what is the point of this character? Like they
Yeah.
couldn't like it's just like none of us like her.
No. The worst.
Yeah, she's like, I set you up with Ashley and she showed you her tractor. So I was just like, what? Like, this is not a great you're 18, so it's realistic, but this is not like a great reconciliation.
No. And yeah, absolutely. They're teenagers, so whatever. But at the same time, she like not only just that history, but like going on, she's a little abusive. They both are. They're not great people
Yeah,
either.
they're definitely like, I really love them as actors.
Yeah.
So I have fun watching them, but I was like, this is not a good couple.
Oh, you guys are not in a healthy relationship at
So
all.
toxic, like in so many different ways at once.
And thank you, because it was entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if it had been really healthy, then I don't know how much it would have really been to watch.
There's a they end up finding a movie and they're watching it, and the closed captioning said old timey Christmas movie playing, which I really liked. Old timey, not like old. Love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There.
way better than like classic.
Yes, so much better.
Old timey's like kind of got some like oomph to it.
Absolutely. They're getting snuggly and they pass out because they've been doing whippets and eating rum cake. Were they eating rum cake in this one too?
I
I
just
don't know.
assume that there's rum cake that they're gonna eat in like any
Yeah.
given year. That's
Yeah,
gotta be part of it.
it's gotta be.
I like to think that even when they're adults, they don't realize it's not getting them drunk.
Yeah, they
Repeat
pass
it
out
again.
for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
I do want to know, now this is a thing that a lot of these movies do with the like going back through time.
Mm-hmm.
They have actual children play them at ages 4 and 10, 13. And then
Mm-hmm.
at from 18 on, they're supposed to play their younger selves. This movie did not try to style them. Like it did the least legwork. And these are like grown ass people. Like they're both very attractive actors, but Danica McKellar is 47 and Dustin Milligan is 37.
Yeah,
Um,
there's no, yeah.
but when it's like they're 18, I was like, could you at least like make their outfits more ridiculous or something? Like I know I can suspend my disbelief, but the movie did not style them very different throughout the years, and that bothered me.
Yeah, no, they did not at all try. They were just like, no, we just told you how old they were. Shut up and watch it.
Literally, I was like, this is very lazy. Also, with a festive movie, one of the most fun things is costuming. So
Yes.
really get into it and get into like this is 80s clothes, 90s clothes, you know?
Oh my God, so much so. And even the fact that it was Christmas and these were Christmas parties, like only half of the outfits were Christmassy. I'm like, go over the top. This is what we're here for.
Absolutely. And like everybody in the town that goes to Evie's house is very into Christmas. Like this is like people who love it. So
Yeah.
they're gonna have some sweaters, okay? There's gonna be some
Yes.
outfits and I want to see them.
Absolutely. Yes. I would assume that Evie of all people would have a mandatory dress code for her parties.
Oh
Come
yeah,
dressed for Christmas or don't come at all.
absolutely.
Bitch. So
Yeah.
then they pass out watching these movies and their dads like sneak up behind them and like, oh, are they making out? Blah, blah, blah. So they go to surprise them and they realize they're asleep. So they're like, oh, fuck yeah, this is gonna be dope. And they basically did the equivalent of drawing Christmas sticks on their foreheads. They were like,
Yeah, they're like it's like they have like Felice, like
uh-huh.
Felice Navidad like on their foreheads and then like one of them has reindeer antlers and the other has like a Santa beard. And I mean, honestly, it was kind of like it was corny in that way where I was like, okay, I believe that these characters would do that.
Yeah.
And then the
No.
next day they're just like, wow, so we should go talk about what happened, which is falling asleep. Which again, they're
Right.
18, so I
Uh-huh.
do believe that they'd be like, our hands touched. We got to figure this out.
Absolutely. And yes. And they're like, so what did she say? She was like, so you're gonna be back next year or what? And he's like, oh, it depends. And she's like, on what? Us? And he's like, he would not even hug you. And you're asking about us? Bitch. That's
I
not how this
know.
works.
I know. And it was also like, do you even like him or are you just upset that he's not into you anymore?
I mean,
Right? Like, because like it doesn't seem like one of my issues with the characters, and I'll get into this more once we're fully up to date, is that neither of them seem to respect each other at all
mm-mm.
in totally different ways.
Okay, I mean, aside from just respect, like the only time they ever communicate is at Christmas at a Christmas party. And okay, you know what? We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot. There's a lot
Yeah,
to peel back.
so fucking much. Age 19. Okay. Sam is pretending to be boring, so Ashley will leave him alone. And Kat says that she's newly single. They do a weird, what appears to be drinking game with children and juice boxes, and I have no idea what's going on.
And they have an ice fight. I was like, why are they having an ice fight? And it's like
that's at age 20.
Yeah, and it's like almost a montage. Also, I do love, I feel that this is both realistic and a funny choice, that there are just always roaming children and we like never know who they are. Like every year at Christmas, there's just like a new kid that they're kind of hanging out with.
Yes, who
And
are
like
these
there's
kids?
no like they don't really get enough screen time for them to actually be characters. It's just like, oh, there's another kid. But
right. Because
yeah,
if they
like
brought them back, they would have to age, and that's not going to happen.
Exactly. So like, yeah, they have this ice fight,
Mhm.
and then like Evie comes in and she's just like, tisk tisk, and she hands them a mop, and I'm like, okay, when is this woman gonna get mad at y'all for trashing her house?
Right. But also unnecessary. Like
Yeah,
she walks in with two mops, and she's just like, you guys,
you silly kids.
Before that snowball fight, which was fully an ice fight, he says, what is best in life to one of the boys? And he says, and the other kid says Christmas. And then Kat's like, hold. This was too intense for this movie. And then Sam says to another kid, Milo, what is best in life? And Milo says, to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
Yeah, that last part, I was like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What video games is this kid playing?
Yeah. I appreciate it. I get it was for like the joke, but I still appreciate it.
Absolutely.
21. It's clearly the year 2000 because they're sitting at the adults table and all the adults are like, oh, I can't even hear about another hanging Chad. Oh my God, did you hear about Wilson the volleyball in that one movie? Hey, did you ever watch that one reality show where they're on an island and they vote people off? You guys.
It's really funny because like they're not doing the work for the costuming, like we said. And the writing is really interesting in this movie because it does really take advantage of the time jump some years, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, here's a chance for these jokes and these references, but not consistently. And that's what's funny to me is it's like sometimes it's very like, oh yeah, Florida, what's happening with the re-election? Okay. And then other times it's just kind of like, what year is it again?
Yeah,
Because,
no, it's just like
again, these two
older.
actors are their actual age while they're playing. So
I wanted more of the like, hey, nudge, nudge, can you believe what crazy year it is right now in every single age? But no.
same. I wish there was like a really VH1, this week in pop culture kind of joke at every Christmas. I was ready for that.
Yes, that would have been beautiful. But and the fact that they did it for this year and this year alone, they never do it any other year.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, Y2K, everyone remember?
Remember how we all thought our computers were going to go crazy? That was nuts.
Yeah, we had no idea what the future would hold.
I think this is one. Yeah. Sam and Kat are listening to the adults talk about boring 2000 stuff, and they sneak under the table and they're like crawling between two sets of legs on each side, or sets of legs on each side. And I'm going to call 100% bullshit on this right now. If you go underneath the table, first off, people are going to notice. Second off, you are not going to be able to crawl between two legs, let alone 2x2, crawling between two. You guys, we're not stupid.
I was angry. I was actually like angry at that part. I was like, fuck you, movie. Like, I get that you're trying to do a callback to like, they like to get under the table as kids and, but like these are adults and a bunch of people are there and they would notice that they're not there and they're going to feel these creepy adults under the
They
table.
were,
Also, it's just so creepy.
yes, and they were literally rubbing up against their legs. There's no fucking way. And then they
And the
pop
movie
out.
like has a joke where Kat's dad farts while they're under the table. And I was like, sure. I mean, I guess. Is this really worth it?
That was the whole movie was just set up for that scene.
Yeah, it really was.
They pop out at the end of the table and like, whoop, we're just walking. Nobody noticed that we did that. You guys, you're not fooling anyone. Stuff. Oh, I hated it.
It was so also like even at that age, even being that young of an adult, I can't imagine being like, oh, this is a fun, cool idea. My bully instincts were ignited by this movie at certain times. I was like, y'all are embarrassing.
Absolutely. Next year, 22, I think. Yeah, age 22.
This is when it gets spicy.
Yeah, knows. Sam's talking to his dad and he's like, I think I'm moving home. And his dad is like, stop being an idiot and do this job that you got hired for that is awesome. You just want to come home because you're bored and you want to make stupid shit. Like, however, he said it all like, oh, sweetie, blah, blah, blah. He was very, very nice about it. And Sam gets so fucking offended. He's like, you're not the boss of me. I'm an adult now. Fuck you, or whatever you're saying, something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like his dad says, you're not wired for contentment. You're just getting into the job that you want and you have this opportunity. And now you're like trying to look at other options and run away from it. And it is one of those moments where it's like, sure, yeah, maybe that's a hurtful thing to hear. But his dad is just being honest. He's not saying it with judgment. And, very realistically,
yes. And I would
realistically, very reactive response of like, fuck you, dad, I'm an adult.
Yeah, that's true. He was way nicer than he had any right to be, his dad. Like, he was just like, you know what? Maybe.
The parents like are so gooey and nice. Also, I think it's really funny that Kat's mom is dead.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
Super funny. But like Kat's mom is dead, but then Sam's mom is alive, but we don't really see her. Like she's there, but we don't really I don't even know actually who she is until like halfway through the movie. And then I'm like, oh, that woman is his mom. Yeah. And his dad's not like a super main character, but we definitely know who he is. And I'm like, what is with this weird like mom erasure, especially in a Christmas movie?
Right.
Moms run Christmas. Moms are
you.
Santa.
Thank you. No, like up until like the last third of the movie, I had no idea who his mom was. I was pretty sure it was Evie, but it absolutely was not. And then his dad kept referencing this other woman, and I was like, oh, that's probably his mom. But we get no like even taste of that until like the last third of the movie. And then it's just like, hey, good to see you, son. I'll be over there. It was weird.
Yeah, exactly. That was so strange to me because again, this is a movie that's very about family, the idea of family.
It's about dads.
And then it's like, actually it's just dads who have a furniture store and that's all that matters.
Yes, carpentry and dads.
Exactly. What else is there?
Nope. Yeah, they have a little conversation. He's like, I'm thinking about moving home, and Kat's like, fuck you, I'm not a rest stop. Go do your job. I don't care. Fair.
Exactly.
Age 23. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is when the first true wedge is thrown between them, except for the stabbing, right?
right.
The stabbing is kind of like, neither here nor there. But this time, we have the moment where Sam and Kat see each other and she's kind of like, oh, hey. And then like behind him walks his girlfriend, Rebecca. And, she's fancy, he met him at a UN event because she's a translator and he was writing an article and like she speaks 11 languages and she's very pretty and she's very nice. And so of course Kat is all like feeling humiliated.
Of course.
Which I guess, sure.
Bronwyn, of course.
I'm like, you see him once a year. Like, I totally understand. You know, like, I understand you being disappointed, but the way that she's
Right.
just like, this is an affront to me that he brought his girlfriend to Christmas. I'm
Right.
like, if you really liked him, like, you do have internet now. You could email or
Mhm.
something, and you would
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
know he had a girlfriend.
You guys don't have Facebook? You guys don't have like Instagram? What?
Right?
What?
Well, they
It
wouldn't let her on Facebook because she's not in college, because they made it very clear that she's in the
fair.
town and he's in the city.
That's right. That's right. They're right. They don't have the broadband in the little town that they're in.
Yeah, they don't, the internet hasn't arrived there yet. They know about Christmas because that's the last news they got. So yeah.
Can I just say that when Sam is telling the story of how they met, and he goes on this like weird, like he was like, every time I see her, she's speaking like a billion different languages. And then he mimics like 5 languages in one sentence. And he's like, ha, and it just like totally falls flat with everyone in the room. I was like, oh man, I felt that. I know that, bro. I get you.
I loved that. I actually really loved that character quirk of his, is that it will show him try to make a joke and it just bombs. And I'm like, word. And like, and it had like a shot of her face, Rebecca, his girlfriend, and she's just like, dude, shut up.
Absolutely. She's like, you just said the most offensive thing in Swahili, and I can't even talk to you right now.
Yeah, she's like, I told you to stop doing this. And Rebecca's like, the thing about Rebecca is she's genuinely nice. Like, she's asking Kat questions about her life.
Yeah.
And I at first I wasn't sure what the movie wanted me to feel, if the movie was trying to be like, wow, this bitch, how dare she exist, you know, because she's a woman. So
Right.
how many can we like in one movie? You know?
I only have so much room for women.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, we already have 1.5. You know, we have Kat and then Evie, who only really gets to be like a woman because she's hosting.
Yeah. And that's what women do, right?
Yeah, they give birth and die. They host, or they're a love interest. But Rebecca was like legitimately trying to ask Kat about her life, and Kat was I did actually really like this scene because it showed Kat getting in her own way. And so instead of making Rebecca into this villain, even though she's still kind of framed a little as like, oh, she's in the way.
Yeah.
It just shows like Kat is upset. She doesn't know what to do with her feelings. So her jealousy is kind of coming out, and then it's making her insecure, and she doesn't really know how to be in the conversation. So she like lies. Like, Rebecca's like, do you have boyfriends? She's like, tons of them, which I was like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah.
And then she just points at a random man who works at the furniture store, like this young guy. And then of course Sam's an asshole, because he is a little pretentious asshole. And he's like, oh, he looks like he could lift stuff. Like, that's not a bad thing.
Right. Oh no.
Oh no,
strength.
God forbid this guy knows how to carry furniture. Fuck you, man.
And you look like you can't, you fucking dick.
Yeah, exactly. He has very like, I was a nerd once and I will never let go of that no matter how successful I become energy. And it's just like, go journal about it.
Absolutely. So Evie sees that Kat's all sad about Sam bringing a girlfriend. So she's like, yo, come get drunk with me in my office. Her office made me giggle because it's like this. The curtains, the drapes, the wallpaper were made to look like library shelves. And that was hilarious to me because she gives Kat a copy of Great Expectations off of this like bookshelf that had like 5 books on it.
Like, there's only 5 real books, but there's a bunch of fake ones on the wall.
There's thousands of fake ones, but I only have like 3 books to my name.
And also, I was so mad that Kat had never heard of Great Expectations. Like, it's completely,
she's a townie.
Right? Like, I was like, it's completely valid for her to have not read it. But the way that like this movie presents it as like, here's this really niche book that's only part of the homework in most high school classes. like I don't need them to have a niche book, but the way like
the way it's presented, it's like so
here's
rare.
This secret that I have, and I'm going to tell you about this character, Miss Havisham, and like her, her issues with love. And so, I know that you're hurting and I understand. And then Evie is like, oh, by the way, I felt that way with your dad, which I was like, is that appropriate to tell
Yeah.
her?
Yeah, she's like what, 23 or something, 24? Like,
Yeah. She's
it's
just like,
still like,
when I met your mom, I almost didn't like her, but then, she was great. And it's like, well, she's dead now. So yeah, of course you like her now.
I
But
fucking love her now. She's fucking dope.
she's so
But
chill.
before, if she had lived, I would have fucking hated that bitch.
Yeah,
But right now,
exactly. She's
so
like, but
cool.
now she's just this memory and I get to comfort your dad. Your dad got really buff because of her. Now he lifts furniture all the time.
All right. So she goes downstairs and Kat's like, yo, hot buff dude, let's get out of here. All right. Age 25.
Age 25. This
Oh,
is when, of course, Kat, so basically hot buff dude and her dated for a while. And then he like, oh, okay, I need to read my favorite line from the movie is
yeah.
a section of it. So I need to read it.
I think I
And
know
it
what
will
you're gonna
give
say.
the viewers / listeners some information. So she's talking to her dad. Kat's talking to her dad about buff guy who is now no longer her partner. And she goes, he was in my house. He used my shower. Then he got on his bike and went to propose to her at the Steak and Shake. I fucking love that.
And he's like, what part do you have a problem with? The steak and shake, or it wasn't you?
Right.
Steak and shake. It was the steak
Yeah.
and shake.
If it had been Jack in the Box, I would have been fine. I'm not missing anything.
Give me Taco Bell all day, every day. Steak and shake and
Exactly.
get fucked.
I just thought that was so beautiful. Like that detail just made it so funny. And also, we don't really get any more information. Like, it's not like, oh, they've been dating steady for 2 years and he cheated on her. It's not like, oh, they broke up, like he broke up with her and then went and proposed. That ridiculous line is really the most information we get. And then we just know, like, well, he's kind of a douchebag. But I guess
Yeah.
Edie still invites him because she invites everyone. I don't know.
Well, yeah. The town has like 10 people in it. She has to invite everybody. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it'd be a small party.
Also, she loves goss. Let's be real.
She loves what?
She loves goss. She loves the goss.
Yes. I thought you said goths. She loves those
I
mopey
wish
guys.
that would make this movie so much better.
Right? The fact, like, for what I picked up from that sentence, basically, she's like, Dad, he fucked me and then he went and proposed to someone else because of the shower. And then later on, we find out that she doesn't move out of the house until like a year or two later. So she's telling her dad that she fucked this guy in his house and then he went and proposed to someone else. And I'm just like, ick. I'm not. Mm-mm.
That's such a good catch because I did not actually make that connection with the timeline and where she lived. That is really funny.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, her closeness with her dad, like, is sweet, but
But
I don't know. I mean, it comes up in the movie later, so like it's sweet. It's just like, again, there's certain things my dad wouldn't be the person I'd confide certain details to.
Well, did your mom die when you were 4? Because
That's so true. She did not. She is alive. She is a full person. So I wouldn't.
Oh, that's too bad.
I know. I'm not sure how to deal with that.
Sam shows up and he shows up and he's on a computer because it's that time of the living situation, whatever.
Computers are real now.
Yeah. And he's looking for a gift for Rebecca, and his mom comes up and she's like, I don't know, they're having some kind of heart to heart. I've been recently told that I tend to gloss over emotional scenes when I talk about things.
Oh, that's really funny. I mean, okay, so this, in my opinion, this is the first time we really get to know his mom at all. And it's still not about her, it's about him. But like, this is really the only time that we get to see her interact with him. And it's like, oh, right, that's his mom. Okay, that's who she is. And she's just like, honey, it's so good to see you. And he's like, oh, you're stalking me, mom. And it's like, dude, you're here one day a year. Let your mom talk to you.
Seriously, come
Come
on.
on. And then she's just like, but I know you're supposed to be in London with Rebecca. Like, what's going on? And he's just like, well, like, I know that Kat is going through it, and his mom, and Rebecca, it was her idea, and his mom's just like, you don't know anything about women. Like, she just said it was okay because she knew you were going to ask.
Yeah,
And I was like,
she gave you permission before you asked. And I'm slow sometimes, and that was really hard for me to work out in my head. So she didn't want him to ask, so she gave him permission first, I guess is what she was saying.
yeah, to me, it was like she was saying, oh, she didn't want to have to say no. And so she wanted to look good. So she preemptively said yes, which, like,
Mhm.
sure. And that's for sure a thing that does happen in relationships. But I also was kind of like, I think Sam is a dick in a lot of ways, but if she said that, it is valid for him to believe her.
Yeah,
I
no, there's no reason for him to be like, oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
really hate that thing that is like very much in these kinds of movies that are like, well, women are like this and men are like this, and actually what people say is fake. And you
Yes.
need to like read their mind in this really hetero weird way. And I'm like, or you could just actually communicate. I don't know, man.
Come on,
Yeah.
give us
Like, is
neurodivergent
being
people a
dense?
chance. What?
Sure. Like, he doesn't seem to be thinking about how Rebecca might feel. But also, if she is not telling him, it's not his responsibility to read her mind. Like, both are true.
Absolutely.
I'm
If
totally agreed about, like, there's no, like, it's like the idea of being neurodivergent or like processing different ways and communicating different ways is so like light years away from these movies.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But also, like, putting myself in Rebecca and Sam's situation. Overseas. It's Christmas. He's like, my partner is like, hey, my good friend that I talk to once a year is really going through it. And also, my family is there for Christmas because that's where they live. I'd be like, yeah, go see him. I don't fucking give a shit.
Yeah, same. I would either be like, go see them, or I'd be like, I can come again. Like, that was my other thing, is that it's like, why doesn't she, like, like, she can come, or she can go hang out with her family.
Yeah.
At this point, I think they were almost engaged or something. Like, they were very serious. And so
Right.
it was like,
And me giving that permission wouldn't have been like, you know what, you should actually just go for Cat. It would have been me
yeah.
like, go see your family and friends. It's the holidays. Sure, why not?
And that's what I was thinking too. Like, even with his mom talking to him, I was like, is she just like resigned to the fact that her son wouldn't actually visit her? Because that kind of bums me out. That
Mm-hmm.
she's just like, obviously, you're here for the girl who's now a woman that you have known, that you've never dated, and you have only seen once a year for the last 5 years. Not for me and your father, who are very
No,
loving.
no. Fuck us.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
So he takes these words to heart and he he makes some grand entrance dancing. And this scene is where I was like, oh, this is the secondhand embarrassment that I thought this entire movie was going to be. And I'm very happy that it was just this scene, even though it was way too fucking long.
Oh my God. In my notes, I wrote, why are they dancing in front of everyone? Who the fuck does this? This is happening so long. Why is everyone outside? Because, like, they dance in front of everyone. Everyone's like, that's so sweet. I'd be fucking annoyed. I'd be like, where the fuck are they dancing? Especially since they're not even a couple and everyone knows he has a girlfriend. And then they go outside and everyone's dancing. I'm like, where's the music? There's no music. Y'all are
Nope.
way too white to just like be dancing with no music. Like, what are you talking about?
That's not true. When they first went outside, they stopped dancing because there's no music. Evie looked out the curtains and she was like, oh, I'll turn on the music outside, which made no sense whatsoever because the music was being played on an antique record player, but somehow she turned up speakers outside. Technically, no fucking way that would happen.
She has a magic Bluetooth speaker that connects to her phono preamp, even though she barely has internet.
Right. And she has to
Yeah.
crank that fucking record player. But yeah, sure.
She's like, I'm cranking it. Yeah. Thank you for catching that, because that's so funny and adds to it. And I completely agree, because I had a lot of fun watching this movie, but
Mhm.
this scene was the level of obnoxious and embarrassing that I was fully prepared for.
Absolutely. I was terrified this whole movie was going to be that scene. And I was pleasantly surprised that it was not
Yeah, me
until this
too.
scene happened.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh yes, this is where I am. It's like you wake up and you're like, oh right. I'm not at home.
This is also, so they were dancing, so I got bored and like was looking at stuff on my phone. And this is when I realized that his mom was the woman that played the Virgin Connie Swale in the Dragnet movie in the 80s.
Oh, I love that.
She was also one of the mean girls in the original Carrie. And
Oh,
something else I don't
wow.
remember. Yeah.
I mean, I really liked her, even though she didn't get a lot of screen time, but I was like, okay, I know her.
Yes,
Where do I
she
know her
has
from?
very much a look of like, I used to be hot shit in the 80s lady, which still fucking hot. That's
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I totally know what you're saying.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Age 26. EB has karaoke set up.
Yeah, and people are only singing Christmas songs, but not even like
Wait, that's not
pop
true.
stars. Oh wait, is there a not Christmas song I miss?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. EB starts off the scene doing karaoke, and her, of all people, she's not singing a Christmas song. Everyone else does.
Oh my God, what does she sing?
I don't remember. I didn't write it down. I forgot.
Oh my God. Okay, so a little glimpse into the rest of her humanity. Maybe was like, by the way, she's not Santa. She does exist outside of Christmas. Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
I did write in my notes that like Ashley sang Little Drummer Boy, and I was like, no. Like again, why is she here? Why does this character exist? But, like we have made a very specifically unlikable girl, woman, person who also doesn't really make sense. You know, it's not even like she's annoying in like a way where you're like, yeah, I know her. You're like, she's singing Little Drummer Boy, but she's also shallow. Like, I feel like she'd be too embarrassed to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's at one point she's talking about how every once in a while she's a pick me, just, to get by. It's like,
Yeah.
no,
What? Like they just
who
didn't.
are you?
Like, if you're gonna make her be this casual villain, at least make her a villain. Like,
Yes.
I want to be interested in it. Yeah.
Not me. So Kat finds out, or she knew, I guess, that Sam and Rebecca broke up because Rebecca called Kat from Sam's phone. And wow, there's a lot to unpack with this breakup that I don't want to do that. But
yeah, it's like basically Rebecca's like, so Sam is the one who dumps Rebecca, and then Rebecca drunkenly calls Kat and is like, good luck with him. And Kat, like, while she's talking to Sam about this, is like, unfortunately the breakup made her human. Perfect Rebecca. And I was like, you're such an asshole. Rebecca is the one who got dumped. She's sad. You don't have to like we get it, you're insecure.
right. You don't have
She's
to
like,
be
fuck that perfect bitch that isn't good enough for you. I was like, okay. But also, kind of realistic, like kinds of feelings that would come up. Like, sure.
Yeah, realistic feelings that would come up because you have feelings for someone that you see once a year.
Once a year at Christmas, also while you're surrounded by like random children, your parents, men who work at a furniture store.
Yeah,
nothing
hot
more
carpenters.
Romantic than that setting. And the sexless setting of like a vaguely religious Christian celebration.
So she takes him to the warehouse or whatever it is that she works at, that her dad owns and his dad owns. And she's like, look at all this cool stuff I do. I'm hot shit. And he's like, wait, you build shit? That's crazy. And she's like, you don't know I build shit? Fuck you. And he's like, bitch, what do I do? And she's like, you know what? Shut up.
And like the movie has this thing ever since I thought that this would stop with the stabbing, but like one of the ongoing things is just that she hits him. And I mean, it's in that like very like, oh, stop, but it's like annoying.
It's annoying, and it looks like it fucking hurts.
Looks like it hurts. Like it's not like a pat. And she also does it at times that don't make sense. Like at one point they're talking about the breakup and he's like, yeah, I'm sad, I'm not over it. And she punches him. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, are you over it now, bitch?
She's like, oh, you're such a wimp. What? You're the one who baited him with the question about how he's doing.
She baited him. How are you doing? Oh, you're not well. Well, fuck you.
You're a
Here's
pussy. Except she couldn't say that because she doesn't swear.
right, because there's a swear jar. There's
Exactly.
an interdimensional swear jar that follows them everywhere.
Exactly.
They lay in the bed of a truck, which is filled with foam. It's fine. It's fine, whatever. I'm gonna nitpick though, because that's just fucking weird. Why is there a truck in this warehouse that is filled with foam? And it's just to apologize. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, is it memory foam? Like, are they building mattresses? Like, what's going on? And then like both of them admit, oh, I guess I don't know you as well as I thought I did,
Because you only see each other once a year, you idiots.
And like, again, y'all have not figured out that you could email or write letters or call each other on the phone or anything. If this is such a big deal, you would have tried to keep in touch. Like, this isn't what? Like, or you could at least have one throwaway line that's like, oh, neither of us are good at that.
Yeah.
But there's no explanation as to why they wouldn't know anything else about each other's lives.
No, it makes zero sense. You guys, the future is now. And also, if it wasn't, you still have phones in the 80s and the 90s. You guys, fucking guys, come on.
Exactly. Like, she would have known about the breakup from Facebook at this point, but yeah, I guess it's just the whimsy of the like once a year, Christmas magic.
I mean, it's a Christmas movie, so it's got to be that way, but still, it doesn't mean it makes sense.
Exactly. I just feel like this is one of those things they could have easily added one or two lines to explain, that she refuses to get on social media and he doesn't like to text because it makes him think of work or something. Like, really? And then, it's like she knows he's single and they're like, oh, we should like get to know each other. But then it's like, they obviously don't know how to actually communicate with each other, because it kind of ends there. And then the next year she fakes sick.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to see him. And I don't get it. Like, I kept thinking there was going to be some big reveal. I honestly was like, she's pregnant. I was like, is she pregnant? What's going on? Or is she sick? Like actually sick, but with something longer term, like cancer or something. Like, I was like, what's this movie doing? But it was just like her faking sick. I was like, wait, the last time you saw him, y'all had this breakthrough.
Right. What is it, because you haven't talked to him in a fucking year? Is that the problem? Because that's fair.
Right. Like, maybe you should both figure that out. So then he keeps, instead of just being like, okay, she's sick, she's not coming, he keeps like calling her, and he gets a little bit creepy, actually very creepy.
It was a problem. It was very problematic. I did not care for it. It was really
scary. Like, he did not respect her boundaries. He's like, I'm coming over. And she's like, I don't want you to. And he's like, well, I am. And I was like, yo, dude, no. If she doesn't want you to come over, don't come over.
Absolutely. And yeah.
And they're like on the phone insulting each other. And I don't even understand how it got escalated to that point. Like, it just escalates really quickly. And they're just saying the meanest shit ever about each other.
Yeah. Like, and she's only doing it because he's doing it. She's just like, oh, you're going to be a dick. I'm going to give it right back. And he's like, how dare you?
Yeah. He's like, wow. She's like, wow, you think that it's normal to not see your family or not keep a job longer than a few months, or you think you're better. That he calls her an unimaginative townie, which is so mean.
And
that's kind of how it starts. He's like, you're just gonna stay inside, you townie. It's like, well, yeah, rather than hanging out with you. Also, looks like she has a cute apartment. Leave her alone.
Yeah, super cute. I don't know if she has anything outside of that room, but it's so cute.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one space besides the furniture and the Christmas houses that she inhabits. And then she's just like, well, you're unreliable and like you don't know how to have relationships with people. And then he's like, you hang out with your dad and like have breakfast with him every day, and you just moved out of the house 2 years ago, and like you're afraid to do anything out of your comfort zone. And then she's like, well, you think you're better than everyone, and if you stayed here longer than a few days, we'd all know like that we're not, like that we're just as good or better than you. And then it just like, they have meaner versions of what I'm saying. And then the kind of like climax is him saying, you have been living inside of like the trauma of your mom dying, and like basically calling her pathetic and being like, you don't even remember your mom, but you just use that as an excuse to like never move away, and like you're holding your dad back. Like your dad wants to move on and you won't let your dad move on.
That's fucked up.
I was like, this is so out of pocket. And also, how the fuck would you know if that's what's happening?
Right. I see you fucking once a year. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah. So he's basically just like, you know, have to live in the past and nothing can ever change because of your mom. And I'm like, I don't know, dude, even if that's true, that's a really intense like wound for you to just like play around in, because your she didn't come to fucking Christmas.
Thank you. Like all of this shit is just harsh as hell. And then when she tries to just like pick at it a little bit and like try and give it back a little bit, he gets so fucking offended. And it was just like pure narcissist behavior where he's like, look, I can be an asshole, but if you're an asshole to me, I'm a victim. So just fuck off and don't even try it. I hated this whole year. This year was not right.
I hated it. I was like, wow, the Christmas spirit is not here. They killed Christmas.
Thank you. That's correct. Now it's present day. Oh, this, by the way, that completely destroyed her. She was out of commission.
She's like weeping on the floor, which like, yeah, if somebody that has known you your whole life says something that hurtful and is basically like, you're pathetic and dramatic, and also even your pain is like overrated, like, you're gonna lose it.
Yes, especially
like, basically, and he's also kind of like, we all see it, like he's doing that thing, which is also the worst thing you can hear when you're feeling self-conscious, is like, all of us see this horrible thing about you that you don't even see.
Oh my god, can you fucking imagine? Stop it.
That's a nightmare. Like that's some, like that will push you into some suicidal like ideations even for just a time.
I agree. Present day, we're back to day one, or the beginning of the movie anyway. The camera is right on the ring box. Bro, don't lose your ring. But he lost his ring. He comes back in and he's like, hey, the kid, there's this one little boy in this whole year scene that I fucking love. He was so fucking cute. First, he's talking about like, so you wake up and there's a plate of cookies and like some of them are gone, but some of them are, but like it's like Santa had some. And Kat's like, oh, can you eat those cookies? And he's like, I mean, I think you can have one, but I don't. I love this kid.
He's so cute.
I would have watched a whole movie of just this kid. He was fucking adorable.
Honestly, would have been good vibes. I would have been.
Agree. Kat's got a little girl in her lap, and her name is Alice in Wonderland. I don't remember her last name, but Sam was like, no, seriously, that's her name. And Kat's like, yeah, she's my goddaughter. Shut your fucking mouth. I love her. Okay. It's been 5 years.
It's like her ex. It's like her buff ex's kid.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you are so unpredictable. Like Sam is like, wow, you're being nice to this child that your ex had. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, don't take it out on the kid.
Right. Oh, you like, fucking little dick
kid. To this little girl because like her dad's a douchebag. Like, come on.
We're still human. But guess what? Kat has a ring box too. This, you know what? I'm gonna let you just go off on this for a while because it was weird.
So I want to say that this is the present day, which, you know, it's been 5 years because they like screamed at each other and alienated each other. Is the only time that we hear about phone calls and emails existing, because he brings up to Kat, Sam brings up to Kat, you know, did you get my messages? Did you get my letters? And she's like, yep. And like, it's clear she didn't respond. And he's like, you know, I want to apologize. Those were kind of my form of apology. She's like, it's okay. You know, it's been a long time basically. And he's like, okay, can we go on a walk or something? And she's like, sure. And then he realizes, oh shit, my ring box that I have is like, I like lost it, you know, and then he has to go find it. And then he realizes she has a ring box too. And he like asks her about it. And she's like, oh yeah, like really vague. You know, sometimes you got to make the choice if someone else isn't making it.
You got to make it happen.
He's like, oh shit. So she's going to propose to some guy. Cause she mentions like, you got to make it happen for a guy. Right. And then she goes up to the office with all the fake books on the wall. And Evie is there. And she's like, Evie, I just want you to know, like, you are basically my mom. Because she's dead. So and like all these sweet things that she's done. And Evie's like emotional, and she's like making Evie a cocktail, and it's a callback to a cocktail, like the scene earlier when Evie made her a cocktail. And then she like calls her dad in. Very weird, but sure.
Oh yeah. Also, the first time we ever hear about text, because EB walks in, she's like, "Oh, I got your text. 3 minutes. I'm here." And then her dad walks in. "Oh, I got your text. 5 minutes. I'm here."
Like nobody had an internet tower in this town until like 2012. Like that is like, they're like, okay, finally we can try to keep in touch, which is very convenient to the plot. So then Kat just gives them this talk about like they are her parents and they've been there, and she puts their hands on each other. So creepy. And she goes, she proposes for her dad, which there's so many things to unpack about this.
Come on.
What the fuck?
First
of all, you have no idea if Evie is still into your dad. Just because she had a crush on your dad like 30 years ago does not mean she's into him now. It's very presumptuous. You don't know if your dad is into her either. So it's really creepy and weird because it looks maybe like you colluded with your dad or something. They're adults. They don't need you to do this. This is creepy.
Okay.
It's also manipulative to be like, you're like my parents, so you should be together. You're in your 30s. You need to fucking figure it out.
Thank you. If I had been either of those people, I would have been fucking mortified.
It's so condescending.
Okay, so they're not dating. They have never been in a relationship as far as we know. And you're going to propose to her for your dad? What?
It's so fucking out of pocket, like on so many levels. You're making so many assumptions. You're also like only framing their lives in relation to you. So you should be married because you mean a certain thing to me. Well, maybe they don't want to be married again. Maybe they have different shit going on that you don't know about because like you're very self-absorbed.
Like she had watched The Parent Trap a month ago and she was like, I'm going to make this happen for me, but different.
I don't have a twin and they've never been together. Yeah.
I wish I had a twin.
It's so creepy. And then of course, like because it's this kind of movie. And again, this was kind of like the dance scene, in my opinion, because it was one of those scenes where I was so angry and it gave me such secondhand embarrassment that I was like, this is what I had been expecting more of.
Yeah, without a doubt. It was, good God, fucking mortifying. Like, what? No.
Making out in front of her because they're like, yes, thank you so much. We needed you to do this. So that's great, because if she ever has kids, she's going to be the worst mom ever. She's going to like try to control all their, like, she's like, I can control my dad. So then she goes downstairs, and meanwhile, Sam is talking to Ashley, who we all hate.
Oh yeah,
and
she's the worst. Like, we all hate her.
Dude, I saw your ring box. It's not going to happen. You don't get her. Kat and I talked about it. She's been over you a long time. And honestly, I kind of didn't blame Ashley for that, because because even though she's a shitty character, I would be so annoyed if I was anyone else watching them. I'd just be like, stop.
Right.
Like, where are you going to live? What's going to happen? So
right. And 5 years later, he shows up with the ring box. Like, yeah, come on. Are you serious?
Even respond to your apology, and you're going to try, like, again, very red flag behavior. Mm-hmm. So he's like leaving because he's like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And then he goes,
it should be
parents, and his parents are like, no, do it. Which again, what the fuck is with, like, everybody has such weird and meshed views of like how romance works and everything. They're like, actually, it's a democracy. We all vote on your relationship. So then his parents are like, no, it's not too late. Go for it. Follow your heart, even if it doesn't make sense and it's, full of fleeting emotions. And so then he's like, okay. And meanwhile, Evie, who, she just probably fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. Bathroom time.
Which, go for it, girl.
Absolutely.
Like, get that.
Get like, what you get.
I need you to see something, Kat. And this is when the movie truly, like, I don't even know what the fuck I was looking at.
No, this was insane. first off, she says, you need to see something. And she hands Kat like 5 house keys. And that first off makes no sense, 0 sense. And she's like, cool. Next time we see her, she's driving to the factory, the furniture factory. A, those were house keys. They did not start a car. B, she probably has keys.
Why would
to that
Evie have
factory.
them and she wouldn't?
Thank you.
Did they change the locks just so they could do this? Weird.
Super weird. So she walks in and there's a okay. There's a trail of red crayons going to her workstation. Okay, we didn't talk about this before because it's so inconsequential, but at the beginning when they're 4, Sam holds up a red crayon to 4-year-old Kat's dress and says, "Oh, they match." That's it.
Literally, that's it.
Like,
he's a 4-year-old who says something.
who would even fucking remember that?
I do not believe that they remember this. Like they
no.
remember 10 when they were 7, but like, come on.
No. No. And she walks in, follows the trail of fucking crayons, and there's a map and a photo of the broke downest house that I've ever seen. It looked like it was going to collapse in on itself. And then she keeps going, and there is a cardboard house.
Playhouse thing?
Yeah. It was very elaborate.
She's like walking into a haunted house that's like fucking cardboard boxes with like crayons on it. It's like if you make a fort when you're a kid, except like this deranged adult man made it for her, even though they don't keep in contact, to be like, what if we lived here? What if we lived in a house like this? Maybe we could even color the walls with some blood.
Yeah, because we cut back to Sam and his parents, and he's like, I bought her a house. What?
What are you talking about?
What? Oh, and we
like,
find out
implied like, oh, like these are the plans. This is like a blueprint. Like, I don't get it. And she's like crying, like she's like, oh my God, the crayons. And there's like a fucking like fake like crayon thing that's like Kat's inspiration board. I'm like, oh my God, he knows that I like vision boards. Like, I mean, that's a pretty safe guess.
But he also says to his parents, he's like, it's cool. It's in the middle of New York State. It's fine because I now have a job blogging. Bro, I got news for you.
I laughed so hard at that because I was like, wow, I've had blogging jobs, and first of all, could never buy a house. So
there you go.
You definitely need a good dual income to do that with a blogging job. Second of all, the website you're blogging for is going to last a year tops. Then you're going to need to get another one. Third of all, what are you talking about, dude? How do you go from going to the UN to like, I know media is hard, but like, what is happening? Like, there's so many gaps in what is going on.
Maybe that's why he bought it for her, so she could afford to pay the mortgage.
He's like, she's actually got a really good job, so I'm going to pick a house and she can pay for it.
Oh yeah, that's smart planning, if nothing else.
I mean, respect, like toxic, but respect.
They're both like, oh shit, because his parents are like, no, you should whatever, go for it, whatever, I don't, whatever. So they're both like, oh shit, and they go and run to Evie's, and oh boy, Kat walks in, no one's in there, there's Christmas lights everywhere, I guess more than usual because there were always Christmas lights, and she sees the little kids table and it's got lights underneath it and a tablecloth. So she knows automatically, I need to crawl under there. And she does. And Sam's waiting. And it was weird.
It was really weird. And honestly, okay, so I understand the trope of like, you had a crush on someone as a kid, you knew them as a kid. And I do think most people, like, even if you didn't date somebody from childhood, like maybe there's somebody, if you go home to where you're from, where you're like, oh, I had a crush on them when I was younger, so there's like an association, even if you don't feel that way anymore. But I can't imagine being like, I want you to remind me of when I was 5 all the time. Like, that sounds weird. Like that creeps me out. Like,
it sounds disgusting.
Like there's a difference between like a reference to like something from your childhood, but I don't want, like, I'm an adult, I don't want to be a kid again. and I can't be a kid again. And it's infantilizing and weird to be like, remember when we were 6? It's like, okay, if that's all we have in common, we're not going to be able to get older together.
No,
Right? Like
gross.
we're not children at Christmas. We are adults. And if we can't do that together, if our whole romance is like crayons,
Okay.
that's gonna get stale real quick.
Yeah, like, okay, your children, you're pushed together because you're the only children in the house. You build a friendship. Cool, I get it. Imagine, okay, just imagine the fact that the people that you hung out with in high school, you actually had some stuff in common, so you enjoyed their company. You were just pushed together. Imagine that one of those people proposing to you after only seeing you once a year for however many years. Disgusting. As a
Completely
child,
delusional.
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
No.
Like exactly. Like I was just like, this is wild. And then of course, it's supposed to be all romantic and and it's also, and I mean, this is realistic. Like if you're in a smaller group of people, like things can get incestuous, like with dating and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, it's like proposing in a house where like her ex and his wife is, and then the girl that he dated is, and like I'm like, I don't know, none of this is romantic. This is so emotionally stressful to me.
Yeah, and what makes it
All
worse
these
is
dynamics you're surrounded by.
absolutely. And what makes it worse is that after he proposes and she says yes, everybody screams congratulations, which means they were all fucking listening the entire time, which
So
gross.
so creepy.
So creepy. So creepy.
I like really, again, I had a lot of fun watching it because the experience of watching it is fun because there's a lot of good actors in this one. And I do actually think some of the writing was good. Like, I think a lot of the individual conversations and lines were well done for the genre.
Yeah.
But obviously the ultimate plot arc is ridiculous. And like they are so incompatible. And it is so like it is so unhealthy. Like it's clear that she never respects him. She thinks he's like annoying and
Shut up. Yeah.
yeah, like she like the whole time she's just like, you think you're hot stuff, fuck you. And then he's also kind of like never asks any questions about her and is like, I don't know, she's just here. It's like that's not a good basis.
No, that you want to base your entire future on a townie that you see once a year. I mean, townies are great. Go for it. But
Yeah. I mean, and
guys,
it's just like, the romance that you have of like maybe because he does seem very insecure in certain ways. Like she's not going to make you feel bad in the way that some other women will because, she gets you and blah, blah. Like that's not going to last. And also her thing of like, this guy sees me and he knows me. And yeah, I'm like, no.
make this a long engagement. Like, let's go for a good 3 years of just like planning a wedding. How about that? Don't put any payments down on any halls
Exactly.
for a few years. Just like
Let that
just
relationship just whoop, whoop.
enjoy calling him your fiance for a while. Just like do that for a while.
Start a
Because
social media, make people jealous, make your life look fancy, break up, find someone better.
start is the main focus there. Start the social media because you need to get online ASAP. You guys, what are you doing?
It's just absolutely ridiculous. But this is before Schitt's Creek, so
That's
he
true.
hadn't met the Roses yet.
That's right. Right before the end, the two of them and Evie are standing outside. I don't even remember why, but Evie's like, you know what? I think it's been Christmas long enough. Because the whole thing is she stopped time because Miss Havisham did on Christmas because that's when she found out that whatever, blah, blah, blah. So she unplugs the Christmas lights. And I'm like, bitch, it's Christmas Eve. You can't wait like 2 days.
I know. Like she's like, actually, I'm done. I hate y'all.
Get the
I'm a
fuck out of my
Halloween
house.
bitch now. I would love a sequel where she's just like a Halloween lady now. I'd be like so into that.
I bet she would be totally down to do that too.
She'd be
She
such a
seems
good
fun.
Halloween lady.
Fuck yeah, she would.
That's where we could get the goths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. That was the movie. I didn't hate it, even though I like to talk shit. It's fun.
Yeah, same. I love shit talking, but I didn't hate it. I don't regret it. It wasn't like, oh my God, that was an hour and a half of my precious time. It was also a great length.
Yeah.
Some of these try to go too long. This was like the right length.
Agree. So now I gotta ask you, do you have a favorite line that you haven't already mentioned?
Unfortunately, it is the Steak and Shake line. I
Yeah.
can reread it if we want to reiterate it for
Oh,
people.
please, let's
Yeah. I just want to make sure that people really walk away from this with the art in their heart.
Let him simmer
So
in it.
he was in my house. He used my shower. Then he got on his bike and went to propose to her at the Steak and Shake, said with drama on the stairs to her father.
So nice, so beautiful. It's like, what a sentiment. My favorite line was obviously said as a joke, like a joke in the script. However, I still really liked it because I like anytime anyone says wiener because it's a really fun word. So Sam's mom says to Sam, your father taught you wiener about women because of that swear jar.
I liked that. I noted that one. I liked the wiener usage.
Yeah. Always good.
Always good. Always hits.
Always. Do you have an alternative title for this movie?
I do, and I wish it was like really funny or like way, but it's just crayons for Christmas. I just needed like something crayon based. I couldn't really land on something as brilliant as I'd like, but I was just like,
No, that's
ultimately
perfect.
it ends with crayons and it starts with crayons, and it's a crayon ad.
Yep, a Crayola ad, I think you mean, because that's the brand name. But yes, I also had a crayon based name that is not as good. It was just red crayons. I couldn't come up with a good one. It wasn't a fun one to come up with. But can we just agree that it wasn't love at the Christmas table? It was love under the Christmas table.
It was Peep and Tom's love story under the table.
I just want to change the position of the love. That's it. That's fine.
I appreciate that because
Thank
it's
you.
accurate. Your version is more accurate.
Thank you.
And if these movies go for anything, it is
accuracy. That's right.
Yeah.
Bronwyn, what a fucking pleasure it was to have you on. Thank
This
you.
is the best way to hang out. I love it.
I know, the most fun.
So fun.
Yes. So everybody else, thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.